The global balance of power is shifting in ways the world hasn't seen in decades, as new alliances and partnerships reshape the international landscape. At the heart of this transformation is BRICS, a coalition that's rapidly evolving from a loose association of emerging economies into a formidable global force. What began as a small club of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa has now expanded its reach, welcoming Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, the UAE, and Indonesia into its fold. This expansion marks a significant turning point, signaling the bloc's ambition to become a truly global player. But this growth isn't just about increasing membership, it reflects a powerful movement among global South nations to assert their independence and redefine their roles on the world stage, moving away from the traditional dominance of Western powers. With 10 diverse members, BRICS now represents an astonishing 45% of the world's population and commands over a third of the global economy when measured by purchasing power parity. This gives the group a scale and influence that rivals any other international alliance. The group's diversity, spanning continents from Africa to the Middle East and Asia, brings together a wide range of cultures, resources, and perspectives, giving BRICS unprecedented economic and political weight in global affairs. For many countries, BRICS offers a much-needed platform to amplify their voices and challenge the status quo, serving as a counterbalance to established institutions like the IMF and World Bank, which have long been dominated by Western interests. Its founding principles of mutual respect, equality, and non-interference are especially appealing to nations seeking greater autonomy and influence in an increasingly multipolar world. The bloc's strategic inclusion of major energy producers and highly populous nations not only boosts its economic clout, but also strengthens its bargaining power on critical issues like energy security, trade, and development. As BRICS continues to grow and evolve, it compels established powers to reconsider their approach to global engagement, signaling a new era of competition, cooperation, and shifting alliances on the world stage. BRICS began as an investment acronym: Brazil, Russia, India, China, before evolving into a real alliance. South Africa joined in 2010, and the group's mission became clear: to push for a more balanced global order where emerging economies have a real say. BRICS isn't anti-Western, but it does challenge the dominance of a single power center. The new development bank, launched in 2015, funds infrastructure and development, often in local currencies, reducing dependence on the US dollar. The contingent reserve arrangement offers a $100 billion safety net for members facing financial shocks. These institutions provide alternatives to the IMF and World Bank, which many see as imposing burdensome conditions. By fostering economic self-reliance and cooperation, BRICS is building a new framework for global governance. The bloc's vision: a fairer, more representative world order. BRICS's expansion is rapidly reshaping the global landscape, signaling a new era in international relations and economic cooperation. What began as a coalition of 5 major emerging economies has now become a magnet for countries seeking greater influence and representation on the world stage. The group is drawing in nations eager for a stronger voice in global affairs, especially those who feel underrepresented in existing institutions dominated by Western powers. Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, the UAE, and Indonesia have recently joined or are in the process of joining, each bringing unique strategic assets, whether it's vast natural resources, large populations, or significant economic clout. Their inclusion is transforming BRICS into a more diverse and influential bloc. Turkey, a key NATO member, has openly expressed interest in joining, signaling a dramatic shift in its foreign policy and a willingness to explore new alliances beyond its traditional Western partners. This move has not gone unnoticed, catching the attention of both Brussels and Washington, who are closely monitoring the shifting allegiances and the potential impact on global power dynamics. Beyond Turkey, countries like Nigeria, Malaysia, and Thailand are becoming partner countries, deepening their ties with BRICS without seeking full membership. These partnerships allow for increased cooperation in trade, investment, and diplomacy. In fact, over 24 countries have shown interest in joining or partnering with BRICS, underscoring the group's growing appeal as a credible alternative to the Western-led order and a platform for emerging voices. For many of these nations, joining BRICS is less about rejecting the West outright, and more about diversifying partnerships, seeking new opportunities, and balancing their international relationships. The bloc's flexible and inclusive approach allows it to build a broad network of allies, adapting to the needs and ambitions of a rapidly changing world. Ultimately, BRICS's expansion reflects a global trend toward strategic autonomy and multipolarity, as more countries seek to shape their own destinies in an increasingly complex international system. Turkey's pivot toward BRICS is a calculated response to years of strained relations with the West. Frustration has grown over stalled EU accession talks, disagreements within NATO, and what Ankara sees as a lack of respect for its national interests. These tensions have pushed Turkey to reconsider its traditional alliances and look for new opportunities beyond the Western sphere. Once firmly anchored in NATO and aspiring to EU membership, Ankara now seeks strategic autonomy. This means having the freedom to make independent decisions in foreign policy, security, and economics, without being overly reliant on any single bloc or power. BRICS offers Turkey a chance to diversify its alliances, balancing Western ties with new partnerships in the East. By engaging with BRICS, Ankara can strengthen its global standing and avoid being boxed in by Western expectations or limitations. Economic motives are key. Access to fast-growing BRICS markets could boost Turkish trade, investment, and technology. Turkey's dynamic economy needs new partners, and BRICS countries offer both demand for Turkish goods and opportunities for joint ventures in sectors like energy, infrastructure, and digital innovation. Closer ties with China and India, and ongoing cooperation with Russia, offer tangible benefits. These relationships open doors to major infrastructure projects, energy deals, and technology transfers that can help Turkey modernize and compete globally. The bloc's push for local currency trade could help Turkey reduce its vulnerability to dollar fluctuations. This is especially important as global financial uncertainty grows, and Turkey seeks to stabilize its own economy and currency. Turkey's unique position, bridging Europe and Asia, makes it an attractive partner for BRICS. Its geography allows it to serve as a gateway for trade, energy, and diplomacy between continents, giving it strategic value to both East and West. Its deepening relationship with Russia, especially on energy, highlights Ankara's balancing act. Major projects like pipelines and nuclear power plants show how Turkey is leveraging its position to secure resources and influence. By courting BRICS, Turkey signals to the West that it has options and intends to use them. This diplomatic maneuvering is a message. Ankara will not be taken for granted, and it is ready to chart its own course if necessary. This is about leverage, influence, and securing its own future. As global power dynamics shift, Turkey is determined to remain relevant, resilient, and in control of its destiny. BRICS offers real economic and political incentives for aspiring members like Turkey. Preferential access to vast consumer markets and investment from China, India, and Brazil could revitalize Turkey's economy. The new development bank provides flexible funding, often in local currencies, freeing countries from dollar debt traps. Politically, BRICS membership elevates a country's status, giving it a seat at the table with global heavyweights. This boosts diplomatic clout and influence in shaping global rules. The bloc's growing control over energy resources, especially after adding Iran and the UAE, is a major draw. For energy-importing nations, BRICS membership could mean more stable, secure supplies. The economic and geopolitical advantages are clear, and increasingly hard to ignore. Turkey's path to BRICS is anything but straightforward. As a key NATO member, joining a bloc with Russia and China would trigger tensions with Western allies. NATO's collective defense principle clashes with BRICS's inclusion of strategic rivals. BRICS itself decides by consensus. Not all members may welcome Turkey's assertive foreign policy. The bloc's diversity already complicates decision-making. Another large member could add to the challenge. Economically, Turkey risks alienating its biggest trading partner, the EU, if it pivots too sharply eastward. Sanctions or reduced investment from the West are real possibilities. Ideologically, Turkey's secular traditions contrast with the political systems of some BRICS members. Joining BRICS would signal a major shift in national identity and global alignment. The stakes are high, and the balancing act is delicate. Turkey's interest in BRICS is a sign of a world in flux. The unipolar era is fading, replaced by a more complex multipolar system. BRICS's rise challenges the West to adapt, listen, and rethink its approach. The bloc's expansion doesn't guarantee confrontation, but it does mean more competition economically, politically, and ideologically. Europe faces tough questions as partners look elsewhere for opportunity and influence. The choices made now will shape the future of global stability. Will the world become more fragmented or more balanced? One thing is certain, the international order is being remade before our eyes.